that that social media in the world of literature is a boon. The topic of this debate reminded me of this one incident when I was looking to purchase a book online and I saw this new category of books called TikTok Made Me Buy It. Now, that truly goes out to show just how pronounced, just how obvious of an impact social media has on literature. And I feel like we have simply attached so many negative connotations to the term social media that it's hard to believe it could possibly be not so destructive as we'd like to think, and let alone have a positive impact on another field of academia. Korika, you can continue.
Thank you so much. Literature is life, and life is literature. It draws inspiration from ever-evolving world, and it creates and then brings out their stories in the form of poetry, theater, or narrative. With the advancement in technology, media and literature have become inseparable, yet strikingly distinct, complementing of the same way. What people think, feel, finds a way to express. In ancient times, education was available to only a privileged few. Only they could read and write, so literature could not flourish the way it was supposed to. But today, thanks to social media, there is more awareness, larger market to capital upon, and overall, it has acquired a new form. Today, we have more writers and readers than perhaps we had in the past. Going by statistics, there are 2.2 million books that are published each year. Apart from these books in print, we have online literature in the form of PDFs, blogs, you have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Social media can be used as a tool to inculcate the reading habit in young readers. Availability of ebooks, colorful images, sharp fragments of imaginations, beautifully, with libraries closing and art budgets decreasing, it is perhaps the best way to encourage people with arts. So, social media broadens the horizon for writers. There are now more number of collaborative writing sites that enable people to work together, such as We Are Smarter Than Me, a community book writing project, or Wattpad, a cooperative platform. Miranda Dickinson used Twitter to get suggestions from her followers for everything, from plot developments to character names. In the latest bestseller, Take a Look at Me Now, Jennifer Egan's story, Black Box appeared as series of tweets before it published in the New Yorker. Literature has come a long way in the human psychology. Till the date follows. Almost the same pattern. Charles Dickens, Leo Tolstoy, George Orwell, Ruskin Bond, Munshi Premchand, Shakespeare, and many more authors don't fail to enthrall and entertain us. By digesting their works, drawing inspiration, and putting on social media, it offers innovative, attractive possibilities for people in the terms of expression, collaboration, and creativity. Thus, I strongly believe that social media is a boon for literature. Thank you.
Media is literature in a hurry. Matthew Arnold stated this. What Matthew Arnold said about media holds true even today. But with literature, things have undergone a tremendous change. Today, it has become a part of media. Today, it has become a part of media. Literature itself is a media, a tool for messaging, communication, and art. Therefore, we don't need any other media for literature. But the lightning fast speed of social media and the influence it has on the mass has relegated literature to a secondary position. Today, literature itself is in a hurry of getting accomplished and then published. And for that matter, social media has proved to be a boon. The literature of modern times is much faster than the literature of old times, faster in terms of propagation and creation. It has crossed all barriers of time. Every day we see thousands of new creations which are circulated to different online platforms, and thus It reaches its audience in a jiffy, and the writers also get instant responses from their fans in the form of likes, shares, and comments. Thus, the social media literature has become the literature of instant gratification. In today's fast paced life, when it is difficult to manage time to meet friends, relatives, etc., the social media provides a good platform to bring forth the Shakespeare within you, driving you to outpour your creative spurt of feelings. Thus, social media has proved to be a launchpad for many writers. Today, everybody has access to all the knowledge of the world. You can get material online, even check and rectify it. If you know how to use the online tools to writing a 3-4 line post, it is not a big deal for those who have had a proper formal education. To quote it on a positive note, these platforms tempt those who can write but would not like to involve professionally into it, and also the people who have no literary instinct at all. Since the onset of 21st century, the internet has become two-way, a change and advancement from the earlier phase when it was only a knowledge provider. Now we can not only receive but also give a tremendous amount of knowledge back to it. Today, we can not only share our views but also edit, co-edit, author, co-author, and the digital content. The role of user has also changed from being a mere consumer to an active producer. The technological advances has revolutionized the whole process in which the literature is generated on the web. The user can access as well as contribute at his own liberty in real time. Among the most prominent features of Web 2.0, we have Twitter, a social networking and microblogging site which allows its users to express themselves in the limit of 140 words, which was later extended to 280 words. The posts or tweets, as it is called, are dished out among the users through mails, messages, or web. Though it was started a medium of communication today, the users have stretched to the limits and they are using it to write novels. Thus, it has become a good and acceptable platform for literature. The first published book entirely composed on Twitter was John Roderick's Musician's Electric Alphabet, which composed in individual tweets between December 2008 and May 2009. Later, it was delegated to the publication studio on the publication of the book. Today, the microblogging has also become one of the most adverse pieces of the literature. Next person shall speak.
Great literature is simply language charged with meaning to the utmost possible degree. Back in 2009, when a young 18-year-old Rupi Kaur started writing poems with the desire and passion, never knew that one day she would be a world sensation. The girl, now known as the Insta poet and the Oprah of her generation, who is traveling the world doing shows with thousands of listeners, is no less than the pop star Ariana Grande. And with the matter of fact, it's all because of social media. The poet rose to fame due to Instagram. Social media played a really crucial and important role in her success. Her first book, Milk and Honey, listed on the New York Times bestseller list for 165 weeks, was sold over more than 3 million times, and all because of her creative writing and advertising over social media. This is just one example. Many other authors, poets like Colin Hoover, Elizabeth Gilbert, Jason Reynolds have a really strong social base, which helps them to be one of the best in the whole time. Through social media, authors are able to advertise their new creation in less than seconds. Social media is the only place where writers can communicate with their readers to know their opinions and are able to have interface with their followers. For big authors and poets, having a book published is not enough. They have to use social media frequently so that their readers can get easy updates on new books and literature. Nowadays, Instagram has become a sensation for young readers and writers. Back in 2014, passionate readers thought, why not give recommendation about the books we read? Why not talk about it? So it all started. Hashtag Bookstagram. Instagram users who focus on artfully staged books, photos, or reviews have become an integral part of the bookish community. If you ever want a good reading suggestion, go to Instagram, type Bookstagram, and there it is, a heaven for readers and inspiring writers. Many social networking sites like Wattpad, Blogspot, Scribbler, Booksy, etc. supports young writers who want to express their thoughts. Wattpad has more than 90 million users who have collectively spent 15 billion minutes each month using Wattpad. Wattpad is famous for the people who love to share their thoughts in the form of stories, fan fiction, poems, and comics. Users on Wattpad can comment and discuss their views on any topic. Young writers publish their literature on Blogspot, through which they can gain views and likes. Facts never lie. So here it is, in front of all of us. Social media has brought up literature in such a way that even the one who opposed it are now willing to take part in it. This proves that social media has a positive and affirmative impact on literature.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I conclude what all my teammates here spoke about, I would like to highlight the importance of literature. Literature has played a key role throughout history in many events such as the French Revolution or the Indian freedom struggle. And the notable authors I would like to mention here are Rabindranath Tagore and Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. It has also helped us pass down stories from one generation to another. The very popular books of Hindu mythology, the Mahabharata and Ramayana, are prime examples. Social media sites, especially like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, have an active user base of more than 2 billion people daily, which is 1/3 of the Earth's population. This mere fact makes social media platforms the best place for someone to explore the beautiful world of literature. The system of reviews and criticism has helped many people form opinion about different things. On social media platforms, people have free and easy access to these reviews and criticisms on, let's say, fictional books or modern day mangas or 19th century artwork. You can find reviews about anything on these platforms. Apart from this, social media sites have helped us in developing new forms of literature, such as blogs. A blogger is a person who uploads or writes about his daily life and shares it on the internet. It has mainly flourished with the help of social media sites. Small scale writers or people who write as an hobby nowadays find it very easy to share their work with others. Something which would have only gained recognition of only 20 to 30 people has now been able to reach out to thousands and lakhs of people with the help of social media sites. Nowadays, they don't have to worry about spending their money, time, or effort on writing letters to newspapers to publish their work, or writing or publishing their work as a book collectively. With this, I would like to rest my case. Thank you for patiently listening. Thank you. We are done. The against team can start.
Okay, could we start? Great. Greetings to everyone present here. I'm Vedant Malhotra and we'll be speaking against this topic. So as the opposition team has presented the various influences and impacts that social media has on us and how it can actually enhance literature. Ladies and gentlemen, social media is corrupting us, our lives, and our everyday interactions. More than 60% of today's youth are active social media users. Over 40% of adolescent girls and over 20% of adolescent boys using social media for 3 or more hours per day. And I'm certain that anything we do for this long, anything we pay this much attention to, has an everlasting impact to us. We, my friends, have undergone a technological revolution. We have witnessed as books got replaced by smartphones, the feel of turning the pages ousted by the dopamine of endlessly scrolling through our social media, Twitter and Instagram feeds. Social media has miserably failed to bring the experience of books onto a digital platform. Instead of enhancing the experience, it has killed it. Cultivating a reading culture is important to any individual and to the development of any nation. The opposition teams stated social media can be used as a tool. Do we have facts for that? Do students actually use social media to enhance their reading skills? According to a survey by the University of Nebraska, about 12% of students claim to occasionally use social media for research purposes, while 88% stated that it is used for purely recreational purposes. The experience of connectivity through books on social media is superficial, as without interacting with a person on a deeper level, their viewpoint cannot be clarified. The declining interest in reading amongst youths today is a cause for alarm and a challenge to all. My friends, the team stated in a speech that the increased volts of Twitter have somehow increased the connectivity that social media provides. It is indeed very convenient to state that the power of connectivity has automatically made it better. But I ask you, as 97% of teens are constantly on social media platforms, which is infusing their nurturing minds with a lack of confidence, social anxiety, and depression, is that to be compensated by the few faster minutes of connectivity? With 13% of 12 to 17-year-olds reporting depression and 32% reporting anxiety, mental illness is a concern for adolescent health, as well as adults. 18 to 25-year-olds have reported some form of mental illness, and this is actual fact according to the National Center for Health Research. As a matter of urgency, my friends, it is of utmost vitality that books be revived, pages be turned, our minds be developed and adapted to think critically, think over a thought over and over, implement the takeaways from a book into our lives, seeds that can be sown, nourished, and grown into the ripe harvests and sweet fruits of worldly wisdom and success in our lives. Thank you so much. I would like to hand over to Ashika.
A very refreshing evening, everyone. Even well, I'll continue with Vedan's point that yes, even critics have stated that people are turning away from reading, preferring to can see an image or play within it rather than imagine one from carefully crafted words. Social media has tremendously influenced literature. The advancement in technology and media has radically reframed and is continuously reframing the relationship between media and literature, thereby foregrounding necessity of literature practices. It is the root cause for all the evil. The brevity of social media messages and the lack of formalized grammatical structure could well be considered to be proof that it cannot be a form of literature. Presently, social media occupies a very vast area of social interactions and literatures that has approximately lost its status as an influential tool in contemporary societies. These days, in the world of apps, social media, it is literally impossible to avoid spoilers. If a character dies in a book, it is going to be the number one trending topic on Twitter. It is going to be the top trending story on Facebook and Reddit and Tumblr, and just turn it into completely uncensored memorial service of memes. Contemporary literary devices have been intertwined in social media. Fiction and poetry are very intimate forms of communication. Appreciating literature requires time alone and a heightened degree of concentration. As you struggle with the book struggles with you. It restructures your thought and reaches you to think and to feel from a unique angle. Real appreciation doesn't end in tweeting saying that this book of literature is so good. That's not going far enough, and it's not even very helpful. Real appreciation ends with the personal knowledge of literature and a renewed awareness of your own past, present, and the future. Thank you so much. I would like to hand over to Mahika.
Thank you, Ishika. Unlike a book which has its own limitations, the knowledge acquired from social media can be boundless. Such unsupervised information can prove to be atrocious for the younger generations. In terms of authenticity of content, social media can be misleading at times. Influencers on these platforms can sometimes mislead the audiences simply for the sake of money or popularity. Such misleading influences can also result in incurrence of negativity and lowered self-esteem of the audiences. They may start doubting themselves and their potential towards other activities as well. Social media at times disconnects the user from the real world.
connecting with the other people is an essential part of literature, but real-time social interaction can further enhance the understanding of literature. I'd like to hand over to Daksh.
Literature as a field relies heavily on our surrounding environment and the aura we create using it. But social media fails to do so. I mean, just imagine sitting in a library reading a book, completely absorbed by its plot, or maybe just sitting at home with your favorite comic in your hands. It can be totally different from holding a mobile phone in your hands. And also, according to the National Center for Biotechnological Information, reading books can actively, adequately activate the parasympathetical nervous system, which helps our mind to relax. Although social media can be very informative, utilizing it, we cannot deny the fact that it can be precarious at times. Thank you.
To conclude, I would state that social media is a bane in the world of literature as it can lead to distractions, social anxiety, depression, and exposure to content that is not age appropriate. Thank you.
The against team has finished. We're supposed to proceed to rebuttals. Could anyone clarify?
Yes. Sorry, ma'am. Please repeat.
Okay, I think we
are debating on the points.
right. First of all, I would like to ask the opposition team. One of the team members stated that the increased votes of Twitter has made it convenient, that it has provided the teens with connectivity. But according to the Center of National Research for Health, 97% of teens are constantly on social media platforms. And 13% of 12 to 17-year-olds reporting depression, 32% reporting anxiety. Do you think these nurturing minds with a lack of confidence, social anxiety, and depression, is that to be compensated by the few faster minutes of connectivity?
According to you, what causes depression, Vedant?
Could you repeat?
According to you, what causes depression? What causes someone to hide their faces? Because students, you are talking about adolescents, right?
Right.
Starting from, we can take the children of adolescents from the age of 13 to 19. Fine with you?
Right.
So students of or people or literally adolescents ranging from age of 13 to 19, basically they don't take platforms like media like Twitter, Instagrams, Facebook because they are feeling dopamine hits, they are feeling adrenaline rush over their minds. They just take it as a pathway to get away from their depressed lives because they are not able to talk to anyone like their friends, like they are not able to talk to their parents. So if you are talking on a whole contrary level, you should not basically poke your holes over social media. You should poke the holes on the parents, on the families which are not able to understand the child. Like Vedant, for example, if you are going through anxiety, you would find a way for only 2 hours if you are able to forget your miserable life about it. If you're going some phase which you are not able to talk to, you will take that path. Am I right or wrong?
Okay, first of all, it is not just about the adolescents. The young adults from the age of 18 to 29 are also reporting anxiety and mental health, about 32% of them.
Surely, yeah.
And as the opposition team stated, that quote unquote Bookstagram and Waterpad and getting likes and comments is something that teens are being attracted to. It is that same thing that is causing mental health issues. And
Nah,
it is that same thing that
you're
causes them
wrong
to
over it.
obsess over it.
You're wrong over it. Totally wrong. The point in the line was that you can communicate. For example, if I'm a writer, I'm writing a novel on my Twitter account. I posted it. So people would ask questions. They will ask queries like, "How was this ending? Can you explain this ending?" Because if my book is read by 1,000 people, 1,000 minds are reading that book. Not one mind is reading that book. I have given my book ending, and that's on your side to propose that ending. So basically, that is totally for people are misusing it. You are absolutely right over there. Only one point you are over that you're confiscating it. The people are misusing it because if you are focused on your life, you use it as a medium to you use it as a medium to run away from your reality if you're depressed. But if you're focused in your life, you know what to do, what is good for you, what is bad for you. It's all about analyzing yourself. One can understand someone as deeply as he understood himself.
I would like to point what my teammate here said is the causes for depression, anxiety, and all the things that you have mentioned is not social media alone. And it also has other reasons for it. You can't blame social media alone for everything.
Okay,
Apart,
first of all, the debate is about social media, so we're focusing on social
Okay.
media right now.
The
And
yeah,
debate,
for
It's
that,
the
it's just
debate is actually about social
it's not
media in the
just
world of
about
literature.
social media in the world of literature.
Exactly.
And social media, like we mentioned, all of us, that it has a role to play in in literature. Like I gave the example of Miranda Dickinson, who used Twitter, to connect with her fans, to connect with people, to to their get their thinking hats on, so that the people could connect. They could connect with the story. And as you were speaking about depression and anxieties, it has, like my fellow mate said, that it's not just social media. Like if you have a focused mind, you would know how to use it. Like everybody has the same things. It's just same resources. We just how we use them matters. Like even if we have a pen and paper, so like one child might just make an aeroplane out of it and just throw it away, while the other would jot down some points and do something else. So you
Absolutely positive.
okay, first of all, you're saying that some certain author posted some comment and they used it to enhance their popularity, right? Their
no,
No,
evidence
not at all.
for the
Not
now
at
book.
all.
And
Marinda Dixon, that's the name. She, for her latest bestseller, Take a Look at Me Now. So she was already well established. She used social media platform to connect with her fans to ask them like what next they want. So you see, social media is not just something. It's a huge tree which has lots of branches. So you
okay, first
cannot
of all,
just focus
viewing
on one.
viewing this on a bigger level. Right now, you're talking about a single author. Viewing this on a bigger level, do you really think that every one of us and every one of the users on social media, they would go on that particular site, or they would go on a literature site and they would actually read something that would
Um,
influence their lives?
Gorika, just let me
Do
answer
not.
this. Okay,
Okay, first of
social
all,
media is a boon for literature because it's just increasing its user base. We are not mandating everyone that if you use social media you have to do this. It's not mandatory. First, let's get that clear. And secondly, what we are here to speak is social media is good for literature, and it is because it's increasing the people who are interested in literature day by day. uh, as of all the questions that you are asking right now, we don't think it's relevant, and just move on to the next part, because what we want to focus here is that social media is boosting literature in the modern world, and it is, and we have facts and personal experiences about it.
so
So if
like
you could ask something else. Thank you.
I would like to
social
ask
media,
the
that
person.
is
I would like to ask a question, pose a question. I mean, can I?
Yeah, go on, it's our turn anyway.
So, like all of you mentioned, that now it's time for us to reconnect with our books, to turn pages, as all of you mentioned. What, like, let's talk about the present time. Talk about COVID-19. Were we allowed to go in libraries? Were we allowed to go in libraries? No. The entire world was shut down. Children were not able to go and buy books. What medium did we go to? We went to books. So like, how in this situation, what I'm trying to say is, in this situation, how can you justify that social media, in like, forget social media, that how this online platform is not a boon?
okay. First of all, we're debating about social media right now. Social media, in its essence, apps such as Instagram and Facebook. And if you think you're posting things and according to books, uh, one second.
By the time he searches, I guess there are more against players if they can come up with any answers.
Yeah, quite going with the information that my partner Himang said. If you have any
Yeah,
queries,
and
you
I have
can ask.
another question.
Otherwise, we are having questions that we want to ask from our team that has gone against the topic.
Can you please repeat the question once again? Because I don't think
So,
it's
like,
clear.
let me just cut short it. My point is, my question is that, like you were saying, that we need to, go back to our printed books. That's basically what you're trying to say. So, what about in these pandemic situations where everything was locked down? So, what about in that situations if you didn't have this media of social media platforms like Wattpad, or little stories that could that in those time of depression when you needed some inspirational stories, so where would you go when if you cannot buy books?
Yeah.
When you could
Well, we're
not buy
not
books?
actually talking just about the books, we're talking about literature. And
Okay, I would
it's,
like to add to my partner's statement also. She was very quite good at very quite affirmative with her points. So there's a quote that goes like, "A man who remembers what to go and what way to find a place where he finds safe, that is where he finds his next way." So if we are talking about on a whole level, contrary level, in our hearts we know that in the coming generation, social media and taking out the whole lot of media, it will replace everything. Our paper would be replaced by our online textbooks, our online PDF forms, and we are replacing it because according to according to NASA and according to ISRO, it has been confirmed that India and America are working on a joint venture to open online research organizations which would work on how to minimize the use of paper, because everything that we are using on right day-to-day lives, if you're talking about textbooks, it's made out of paper, no? So how they would minimize the use of paper, how would they minimize the use of green eco effect? Everything has worse effects, everything has good effects. It totally and solely depends on you how do you use it. Every intellectual has its capacity. Getting my
but
point?
do you think is it fair to everyone? Because not everybody is there. There are people from destitute families, and there are many more people who are not having those resources. Do you think it's fair to them? There are many more options, like eco-friendly paper is coming out, eco-friendly things are coming out. Perhaps we can use it. And do you still think that paper is the main topic, literature? And as she
Paper
mentioned,
is just a branch
uh,
of it. Ishika,
yeah,
basically talking about facts, 91.5% of the paper, the biodegradable paper that you're talking about, paper is already biodegradable. How can you make it more biodegradable? There's
but
nothing
as you
about. There is about
stated that many more things are going online or going on social media, not everybody has those resources, right? Not everybody is on social media. Not everybody is comfortable with it. Not everybody have those resources, as I mentioned.
that is not at all the point over here. The point over
Garv,
here is
let's
how has
ask a few
social
more
media.
questions. Garv, let's ask a few more questions. Why don't you guys answer what Gorika asked?
Yeah, well, I was going to answer that anyway.
Yeah, why don't you
Uh,
answer that?
Yeah. So as she mentioned that we're talking about books, it's correct. We were talking about books, but it was like an example that we are giving for the social in context of the social media that yes, now people are giving spoilers and we're talking about books. And she's correct at her point, but literature is just not about reading books. It's way more than that. People can create more stories on their own, as many people do. They can write, they can, uh, go with their own stories, and they can form essays. There are many more things in
Okay,
form
tell
of
me one
literature.
thing. Ishika, tell me one thing.
I'm
How would
so
you like
sorry
to
to
if
interrupt.
you are going away
Actually
from the
going very.
topic? Yeah. You're not answering my
You're not
teammate's
asking like what
answer.
is literature.
Okay, could you repeat your question? Could you kindly rephrase your question and repeat it?
I'll rephrase my question. So my question is, in during if you take present time scenario where your global warming is rising, constant climate conditions are changing, and the pandemic, now paper is is used, is taken down from trees. So like now from that, so how like you are encouraging printed books, you're pushing for printed books than online resources. So how do you manage to keep everything going on with these recent situations that are coming up?
Okay, 2 points to that. First of all, the debate right now about social media, we're not focusing on what the global warming issues are going on, because the question that you have asked about the pages, printed books in itself is something that promotes a certain kind of critical mindset. You're reading an ebook. You're reading an ebook and you flip through the pages. There's no feel to it, and it's been
So Vedant,
a long
see, so your
time.
whole questioning theory about depression, that's a myth that cannot be involved in it because we're talking about the topic. You're contradicting your own lines. See, if global warming is an issue that we cannot talk about in this debate, then how can you take out depression and you can sabotage it with Instagram, FB? Everything is interrelated in this world we're talking about, in this debate we're talking about. So your question that you asked that about so adolescents ranging from the age of 13 to 19 are getting depressed, are getting dopamine hits, their adrenaline,
Okay,
their
printed paper
fermentations are getting
that
low.
we're getting from trees. Okay, printed paper that we're getting from trees is something that's happening on an everyday basis. Are you essentially saying that newspapers and books and printed books all around the world should just be replaced with electronic mediums?
Well, they are going to be replaced in the future. Slowly, small steps are being taken towards that direction.
And okay, the topic about social media, as I stated before, it's about the apps, the Instagram, the Facebook. How is any electronic or what electronic books and electronic pages related to that? Because that is a totally different thing. I think the topic of the debate, the social media topic, it's about how social media has influenced us and influenced literature.
Exactly,
So
it's how
that
that
is the question
how.
only. Why would
Let me just say that social media, it's a platter for like various kinds of literature. It's a platter. Like people can just, if you want to search a poem, just a little few clicks and buttons and that, and you have thousands of poems in front of you. But when you have a book, you can just search कि भाई कहाँ पे, and where is what and what is what. And if you don't have a particular book, you're doomed then. You don't have anything. But like, let me just say कि if you have an ebook, okay, now a platform where you can take ebooks. You are like, if you're finished with one book, you can immediately shift on to another. But what if you're talking about printed books, then if you finished one, if you don't have any more, then you just idle. You don't have anything to read after that.
Okay, first of all, social media, and you're talking about printed material, the printed material that is harming us, and then you're suddenly talking about how it is portable. First of all, Kindles and ebooks, it's a
I
totally
was
different topic.
trying to answer your
And
question that you
okay,
okay.
social media in itself is an unproductive use of time as it only entertains you and gives you no food for thought. The amount of
so we are
education you're
talking
getting
about?
from it
So
I am
over here we are talking
is
about
very
literature,
less.
not use of social
I'm
media.
so sorry, but let me just ask you something, Vedant. From where did you search your information for the debate?
I have exactly stated the resources where I have searched it from. The
It
statistics
was
that I
from
stated,
somewhere from Google, something from Google, some websites. Exactly.
because they're official websites, the sources
So
I'm
it's something sort of social network, right? It's a website.
not a network. The internet itself, different thing. Social media, what we're concerned about right now, it's about Instagram and all of these apps that are promoting social media, but that's also hampering the growth of children because it's influencing them with the detrimental comments. Okay, while the internet keeps its consumers' minds occupied by social media and trolls and fake news and all these hazards of the online life, books allow its readers to like internalize and react and transform. And that's something that the current population and the current age of students is missing because we are more occupied by social media. And I don't think a large percentage of students, as I already stated, according to a study, a majority of students themselves state that they're using social media for recreational purposes. Now, of course, that can be used for some useful products, but is it being used? That's the question.
So
It's
if you
not.
know, see, if you know your cures, if you know that you are wasting your time, so it can be cured also. You know the problem right now that you are having with students are having that they are wasting a lot of time. So you just need to you focus your mind over there. You need to take time. You need to manage time. What makes a topper and what makes an average? What is the difference between a topper and an average student? They manage time. They know how to use the
Again,
time.
you're going into hypothetical scenarios again.
Vedant,
Not
It
at
is
all.
okay,
How
let me
basically
let me add a few points before anyone else speak. It's just that you can't mandate people to go and look into literature if they are using social media. There will be distractions, but the people who are interested in literature. So the
Absolutely.
fact that 97% of teenagers are not using social media for looking into literature, you can't mandate it on them. What they want to do, they can do it on them. Social media gives them that freedom. Literature is getting boosted with the help of those 3% people that are using social media for it. Is there anyone else who would like to add a point? Then add it on.
That's exactly my point.
Exactly.
You're saying that
Our debate was supposed to be about social media in the world of literature and not about why social media is bad or how it's not leading to the development or how it's
okay, I'm not essentially
detrimental
stating
to.
that social media is bad and how it's influencing people. What
You're
I'm stating,
contradicting your points. You're
see what,
contradicting all of your points that you have
wait a
stated right
second.
now.
I'm
Yeah,
just
Ritik,
trying
go on.
to I'm just trying to give
Ritik, go on.
clarity on my points. What I'm saying is social media in itself is not a bad thing. It can be good, but the facts that are right now, that are currently in front of us, are not stating that literature on a wide platform is being used as majorly as books give us the information and give us the knowledge. Moreover, first of all, the platforms that were mentioned, and as I earlier stated, that the likes and comments and all of the obsession regarding to that, it creates mental health problems. And you stated that that's the kind of rebuttal that I give, and this actually turns into an ugly path, as the readers judge the person based on their opinions because they don't get the idea and the creativeness to think about it themselves, because they're viewing
So
the comments and they're viewing the reviews of the other people and they're not getting the original ideas. When you
Thank you
read a
so much.
book, a thought cultivates into your mind. But this way where people are essentially posting their opinions and you're viewing them, this
Yes,
can have a detrimental impact on the
yes,
person's
yes.
confidence and mental health.
Yeah, Vedant, thank you so much for the answer you gave, but it was not my question. You did not answer what I asked. And what you said right now, that can you please repeat? I just skipped my mind.
Yeah,
Ma'am, can you continue?
I
Okay,
lost you.
I would I would like to ask you guys, the against team, a question. Uh, while you were speaking, you raised a point that age inappropriate content is being freely used by people through social media sites in the field of literature. Uh, I would like to ask that when you can have the reviews and criticisms showing that it is not age appropriate, and how is this system applicable for books? When you have reviews which warn you about them, in books you don't have any system as such which warn you that except the only note it's 18 plus or something. That's the same thing that we have here. So you can't basically raise a point that inappropriate for age is being uploaded on social media and is used by others. This is in case of literature and nothing else. I just want to make that specific.
Okay, so your question is that can you rephrase it because it was very long and you
Okay,
just
I'll just shorten it down. What the against team has spoken is that you have easier access to age appropriate content on social media in the case of literature. Uh, while I would like to say that we have a system of reviews and criticism for this very exact thing, while it is absent for books that are being sold offline and not through social media. How could you say that social media has not helped improve this part of improve this negative point about other offline books or other offline poets that go around?
okay, you're saying that the age appropriate system on social media has actually helped literature and readers to access the material and access the material appropriate to them. First of all, we never contradicted the point that social media is helping the age appropriate part. Okay, we just essentially stated that social media provides content that is not age appropriate, and if it's even not specific to books, it's specific to the comments that are under books and the reviews. They are not necessarily age
Okay,
specific, and it can
for
impact
that,
a child's life.
there are systems in which they literally censor it, or they write NSFW comments, anything. So they have a system in which even if the comments are not age appropriate, they are also being kept aside.
Like, let
Totally.
me just add on to what my like they said, like my fellowmate said. So, like in your social, like your platforms, writing platforms, like to take Wattpad for example, there you have a total. They give you a warning about what's going to happen. A warning that if it's 18 plus, they give you a warning if blood is mentioned or something, very uncomfortable. It is mentioned, but you don't have that in a book, do you?
We're not saying, okay, first of all, I clarified this again and I'll clarify it. Basically, the system of age appropriatedness, that is in social media. We're not opposing the fact that it is in social media and it's helping. We're just stating that there can be comments that are detrimental, and this system, we're not saying that the system is wrong. We're just saying that there are age inappropriate comments, and even if the system is showing maybe NSFW or something of that sort, it is not being, that is not the part being judged by us or opposed by us.
So what was the point of mentioning that thing in your debate? If it is not at all, first of all, you were skeptical about it, so why did you mention it already?
Actually, it was Mahika, I guess, if I am pronouncing her name right. She was the one who spoke these lines. If she would answer it, it would be better because she thought about it. I guess she's not in the meeting. Okay. Let's let her answer when she joins back. We'll just ask her that again. I would like any other person, if they have a question from Foresight, if you can continue.
Yes, until then, I would like to state, uh, as we have already stated and as we have already established, that there are some comments on social media and there are reviews on social media that a person can read, and they can be underconfident about their own views, because the views that they develop from books, it is very obvious that they cannot develop the same views from social media, because social media essentially, it is influencing their views by already giving them comments. That comment can be detrimental to someone's life, and it can impact their mental health. So we are being exposed to these platforms from a very young age, and is a platform where sources can't be trusted, and the comments are detrimental and can impact someone's life, really something we could confide in.
That's how life goes, no? People judge you on your thoughts, people judge you on how you present yourself. So it is basically solely you're writing a book worth of 200 pages, 250 pages, or more than that, and you're writing about on a topic. So I'm mature enough to write if you're writing a book. So I'll come out basically, Vedant, over here you raised 2 points. Like, you again are contradicting your point. See, you mentioned your first point, which you asked, that was fine. That if a writer has published his or her book on social media, and if someone writes bad comments or detrimental comments, that can affect his or her mental health, right? And the second thing which you were which you are asking over here is, if what if some adolescent or some boy or a girl, with not that mature mindset reads it? So that's not at all related with literature, no. Social media being a bane or a boon. I think that is the topic which is going in your mind. Over here, we are talking about social media is a bane or a boon for literature, right? You're getting my point.
I'm talking about literature only specifically. As I already stated, the book talks that were being mentioned previously by someone in your team, they contain comments and they contain certain reviews. Okay, that is hampering someone's creativity, and that is hampering someone's intellectual ability to actually think something original. Whereas books,
So
you read it, you turn the pages and you think about it, you think over a thought. Social media is not allowing the students to do that.
You see,
How
that's a
you
very subjective thing because the people who you're talking about, like the people who are expressing their views in the first place or who are influencing others, they are also the ones who are reading it. And like there are two sides to the situation. If I am a person who is reading a book and I am expressing my thoughts about it, maybe suppose on book talk or on Twitter about that book, now that's really up to the person who is reading it as to how they are going to interpret it, as to how influenced they are going to be from my opinions. In fact, if I were to read somebody else's thoughts and opinions, I should have enough self-awareness to realize that they are not universal, their thoughts are not completely correct, or not even correct, they're not supposed better than me or better than what I believe, or
See,
what my
again,
thoughts
as
are
I
about a
stated,
particular book.
what are the facts? What are you basing your information? What you're stating in your speech? What are the statistics or facts that you're basing that upon? It has no basis. The reality is that these people that are viewing these comments, and that I already stated, according to the surveys and according to the research centers, the official research centers, they're stating that these comments are detrimental and they're impacting someone's life, they're impacting their mental health.
So
And
do you
it's
have facts?
happening right now.
So do you have facts? Do you have statistics that these are, see, for your individuality and for my individuality, some comments can be detrimental for you, and the comments which are detrimental for you can be beneficial for me. So what are your statistics? What are your take on this? You are asking my friend Ritamra about it. This is the question which you are asking over here. It has no statistics. It has no comments over here. You are again relating suicidal thoughts. You are again relating
I
those
would like to add a
depression.
point.
Yeah,
I would
man.
like to add a point here. For comments that would create detrimental thoughts and everything, there's a system known as moderator, or for a mod. A mod, typically he is kind of a person who is responsible to look in through these comments. If he finds something that could hurt somebody mentally, or could give them a wrong picture, he has the powers on social media sites to delete it, censor it, or tag it NSFW, which is
Yeah,
not safe
surely,
for work.
100%.
See, again, we are
There is a
talking
system.
about the
There's a much
system.
better system here that would allow us to remove such comments, which would give someone problems such as mental health. And
I
since
am
the
saying it
start, you
again. We're
have been
talking about.
concerned about mental health. I would just like you to move on after what we have told here about. Uh, I would like to ask you that there are a lot of books that are only available, a lot of books or a lot of literature stuff that are only available in certain parts of the world, whereas it's not accessible to the other parts. Social media has helped people who want to explore these things by sharing it with them. The main reference that I want to give here is Japanese mangas or comics that is very popular among teenagers right now. There's also the mere fact that these comics, which are solely based in Japan, have been able to uh, like outsell Batman to 550 million copies sold. That's the Guinness World Record currently, and uh, and the entire population of Japan is only 100 million. How do you think that it has 5 times its sale only without using social media?
And to be very precise, I would like to add points. I am myself I'm a very enthusiast of these anime and Japanese culture, and I would like to add this. After this revolution called Japanese manga revolution, there was $552 million of investment in Asian region by America, because the Japanese manga is illustrated in Japanese language, and to convert it into English language and other Mexican languages, the money which is being funded, it is solely funded by America, because it has a huge fan base population. And to be very honest, some mangas are very life changing mangas.
Okay, we just got into a different topic. If you rephrase
The
the
basic
question,
question
you are
is
basically essentially saying, okay, could you rephrase it?
yeah, I'll just tell you the basic question that something that is only available to a certain region of the world and has outgrown its sales than the population that lives in that area, how do you explain it happens without the help of social media sites? Do you get my point?
You're saying that books that are available in certain regions, they're being accessible through social media.
yeah, they are accessible, and this is the reason why it has boosted literature in that section. I'll be
Okay,
very
right,
frank, it's about comics right here.
right.
So
Okay, so the thing is that while social media, you're saying, is popular, is making these kind of Japanese books more popular, and it's boosting the popularity of certain literature that is constrained to certain areas. While that is also true, but if we look at what
you accept it's true,
from a
right?
perspective of,
Do you accept it's true, right?
what are you saying?
Vedant, you accept it's true that it has helped boost literature in this section in Japan. That's the literal sentence you spoke.
See, I do accept that it's
So
true.
you do agree that it is helping, the social media sites are helping us boost literature, even if it's for a particular sector, it is helping, right?
Social media isn't essentially helping boost literature. Okay, it's helping a certain kind of a person to post something that makes it more popular, and that's something completely different, because
That's actually the main agenda why you write a book, so
people
that it's
who are
popular and
actually
people
viewing
read it.
social media, from the bigger statistics, people who are not from the literature part, from the people who are viewing social media around the world, what percentage do you think actually views social media for the purpose of literature and social media? Since you're saying,
You are going again against the
Look, we
topic.
are going off topic.
Yes, your topic. We are not debating why social media is. You are going against the topic. You are taking against the topic. The topic over here is, again, my friend. I'll remind you. Topic over here is, is social media a boon or a bane for literature? It's totally based on literature. We're talking about literature. We are talking about facts. You are again pointing on social media. It is a boon. Is social media a boon or a bane? The topic, you are not fair with the topic.
Miran, I'll just like to highlight it for the third time now, that you cannot mandate people, if you use social media, you only use it for literature. That's not mandatory. They can divert, it's their
that's
freedom, they
exactly
can
my
do that.
point. It is not mandatory for them. That is why it is not mandatory that people are essentially viewing social media for this purpose, and it's growing.
Yeah, it's
It is,
not literature. We are
okay,
only, it's
first
not
of all, what are
permanent
your
that you
sources
need
and
to
what are your
happen.
statistics? Because
Vedant,
This
okay,
does not require statistics, buddy.
Vedant,
Listen. Yeah, come on, go on, Gorika. Gorika, go on.
Vedant, so let's
everything,
you go to school, right? In school you have libraries, okay, and you have a group of friends. So tell me, out of those friends, how many are truly interested in reading a book? Okay, you've got tons of books. How many of them are interested in reading a book? That's exactly how it's in the social media. Like, you've got tons of things, but if you don't want to, go into the literature part, you just don't. You cannot force people to do something. Okay, to those people who are interested in literature, they will create awareness, like, be it through little stories or little glimpses of that thing, or through tweets, or to discussions, or to some fan art. It's all on people, on their choices as an individual. Like, I gave you an example of your school. In libraries, you
okay,
don't have.
I'm not disagreeing essentially with the fact that social media, by certain people that help post these things and help boost its popularity, is detrimental. I'm not essentially stating that. Okay, it's kind of an advantage to social media that it's helping boost the popularity of certain books. However, in this world, the lack of reading culture among the young generation, especially higher school students nowadays, is greatly affecting the quality that is being produced by the nation. Okay, it is a
That's
fact
not
that
affecting your result in
gradual.
JEE
Okay,
or
wait a
NEET.
second.
Actually, if we
See, modern people.
Reading.
Excuse me. I'd like to pause the debate for a minute, and I'd like to take a vote on if we should continue the debate or not, because we were supposed to conclude it at 5:30, but I see you guys still want to debate. But I'd like to see how many of you want to continue to debate. So raise your hands who want the debate to be continued.
Ma'am, just
Uh,
a request. If any other member on the against team have any other question to ask, because Vedant is the only person who has been talking since the start, we would like someone else to ask something new, so that we can have a better answer for you guys.
I know. The other against team, the others have to speak as well. I've told you this beforehand. Okay, the others need to be active as well. All right. Now the vote, please. Who all want the debate to be continued? Okay, 5, 6. All right. And all right, then it wins. Fine. The debate will continue till 6 p.m. All right. Okay, you guys can continue.
Okay, so first of all, as he already stated that we are diving deeper and deeper into a certain topic and we don't have a fresh topic to discuss upon, it's making this debate very dull. I would like to ask something. Okay, first of all,
Yeah.
due to
Vedant, if you once again, Vedant, if like you can go ahead with the question, but if somebody else wants to ask, they can ask us.
exactly, see, my team is open to it. However, I think Mehika is, due to certain reasons, not in the current meeting.
Meeting. Yeah, I was waiting for her to return, but she's still out.
Yes. So
Why don't you try asking a few questions, Daksh?
Actually, instead of asking a question, I would like to reply to that topic where you were talking about the mangas which are being produced in Japan and the propagated because of social media. So I would like to tell you that yes, I totally agree that they are being made famous manga. As these mangas, I have also read many mangas that because I also like this anime and manga topics. But I would like to ask that mangas were first created in 1920s, but some mangas have been even older than social media itself. There were many mangas that were created before even social media was created. But can you say that those mangas were not popular at that time?
No,
Absolutely.
they were not popular at that time because they were
Absolutely, they
only
were not
available in
popular at
Japan.
that time because
Come from the
availability of
world.
resources was
Because
very
of,
limited.
Even though it was limited, but they were still made very famous without the use of social media that too.
Yeah,
Okay, talking
then
about
it was working.
statistics.
Now it
Daksh,
has
See,
only been boosted to a next level with the help of social media sites. And
yes,
as your teammates
exactly.
have agreed, that's the main point that we speak about. Go on, Riti.
Like Daksh, how did you get to know about manga? How did you read one? You must have just saw it somewhere on a social media, right? Like if we go on a social media, we get many recommendations about reading of books. So manga being one of them, it has boosted the production of manga nowadays. That is why it is famous.
Like you're saying that how did I find manga? You are totally right that I found manga through a social media site, but I as a part of this generation, I'm saying as a part of this generation, there were many generations before that have seen manga, that have made manga popular, that have created manga. So even they have created many famous manga without the social media factor.
so that time social
Uh,
media was not present. No, time
yeah,
changes
yes,
now
everything.
yeah,
Time
now
has
Daksh,
that
changes
social
everything.
media is there, it is giving a boost to the production and it is making it more
Absolutely.
famous. It is making it more popular, which is better for the manga companies.
Talking about the manga artists, right? It is making them famous.
yes,
Yeah, it is
exactly.
making their work famous.
The Tokyo
Yeah.
Summit, like what do you call the quad meeting that happened, you know, a news channel just specifically covered the manga art, and and that's a world channel. So like people all across the world watch that. So you see, through media, this is not exactly, it's not media that it's been encouraged, it's been boosted, and only after this entire social media came, the entire knowledge of this manga art was spread out to the world.
Absolutely. Going on with statistics, the sale of manga in Japan only cannot generate revenue per annum. And right now it is generating 5 million revenue per minute. I think for 2.5 minutes. So it can be said hence that social media is a boon for manga. And going on to the topic, right now we are exhilarating about a point. Social media is a boon for literature. We are going and we are absolutely standing on our abbreviations.
Uh,
Like I guess we should move on from the topic of Japanese manga. I would like to ask a question to the opposition that, like, suppose if you write a book or a poem and you need to publish it, like you have published it, but it's not gaining that much popularity. What is the way that you will choose, which is pocket friendly also to advertise your book? Like, except for social media, giving the advertisement in newspaper, it's like really costly. In magazine and television, it's all really costly, but social media is the only way by which you can advertise or advertise your publishings. So like just tell me some other way which is pocket friendly.
Advertising books essentially is in the world of literature. I don't think it's specific to that, but
Sorry,
first of
Vedant,
all, I
can
would
you
like
speak a little louder? Not audible. Can you speak a little louder?
sure. I'm saying that social media, as you're saying, it enhances the advertisement and it enhances a certain publisher's ability to reach the masses. I am agreeing with the fact that it does. I'm stating that I'm agreeing with the fact that it does. Okay, first of all, because as social media also has its pros, so does books. So do books, and books have its cons. First of all, as I recall that Gorika stated that books are due to the increasing amount of books, the amount of papers are increasing, and that's leading to the cutting of more trees. And as then later Himank also pointed out that we were specifically emphasizing on mental health and not focusing on the topic of literature. Okay,
Yes.
that could be samely like in the similar
That's
way
the
it could be
topic of mental health.
it is applicable to books as well, and the focusing emphasizing it on pages that is not relating to the topic of social media, and that is not relating to what social media has an
So
impact on
that is
us.
in the past,
But
Vedant. We are talking. You are not answering my mate's question. That was in the past. That has happened. You are
see, the
going
publishing
passive again and again.
the
So you
publishing
should
part,
answer my mate's question.
I already stated that the publishing part, first of all, reaching the masses according on the side of the publisher, on the side of the person who has actually written the book, it is a nice way. It is a actually an efficient way to reach the masses. However, if we view it on a large scale, do you really think that it achieves its goal? Because there are no
Vedant,
statistics that show.
Vedant, do you think one third of the Earth's population of 7.75 billion, which the one third population is almost 2 billion plus people, they are on social media platform, and you have no other way, literally no other way to reach masses more than this, and it only happens to social media. You don't have a larger scale here. This is the largest scale that we are talking about. Which larger scale are you talking about? Just mention it in specific. That is cost friendly.
I'm not. I already stated. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that from the side of the
See,
publisher,
you guys have
social
already
media is
agreed it
helping
to three
aggravate the
points that we have
publishing.
raised, that it is boosting literature. It has boosted manga sales, which is a part of literature. It is the best way to advertise your literature. It is boosting literature sales. It is pocket friendly. I don't think you have anything left to disagree with. You have almost agreed with everything that we have raised here.
100% positive
It's
is Himang's
5:30, ma'am.
statement.
I'll just like you to realize that they have already agreed to almost everything that we have spoken about, and there's no point in continuing.
Okay.
So
First
we
of
would
all,
like to end this debate session
since
over here only.
okay, let me speak. First of all, none
Yeah,
of our
speak up.
members have been. Okay, a few of our members have been interacting since the beginning of the session, and we haven't been able to put up as many questions, which is
Okay,
why we
try
have
a
been
different
facing
number
kind
to
of a
ask a question.
disadvantage compared to your team. And of course, we have questions as well that we have not been able to put up since more members of your team are interacting. So, if possible, could I kindly pose a question?
If you
Surely
can
you
share
can.
it with a different member, it would be better.
Sure, I'm directing it to your team in general.
No, a different person on your team, if they can ask a question, and not you, because I think we have answered everything that you have spoken about. If anyone else on your
Right.
team has a few points that they would like to raise, please continue on.
Okay, I'll wait like 5
Well, I
minutes.
want to ask something from all of you.
Great.
You all mentioned that social media is having a good impact on literature and all that. Don't you think it's affecting the authenticity of literature, the actual literature, the ancient one that we have been following, even when there are certain kind of slangs and new kind of abbreviations and many more things on social media that's actually violating the rule. It's corrupting literature.
Ishita, like I would just mention in general, let fellow mates an answer. But to answer your question, you live in the 21st century, not the 19th, and rules need to be changed with time. Things need to be changed. How do you relate things when things are modern? Okay, if somebody comes and writes a story of an old time and you're not able to connect with it with old things, will you be able to connect? Will you have that if you don't use slangs? If you don't adapt, like it's say like there's a theory like survival of the fittest, so that you need to just keep on changing with the changing times. You cannot be stuck in the past when the future keeps on moving, the present keeps on moving forward. And Himang, can you please continue?
Okay, I would continue. Uh, as you raised that it is disrupting the authenticity of literature in modern times. Uh, for people who think that this is happening, social media sites also have a method where they can lend you to buyers who only want to take the original thing. Like you have social media sites that could connect you to people who are willing to let you borrow books, poems, or anything as such, and you can still continue the authenticity. But here, they don't have to post it on a newspaper, or which would be very costly, saying that I'm willing to share a few books that I have, and if you are willing, you can take it. You can directly do it for free on social media. This helps keep the authenticity, and it is also evolving a new branch, which is a version of ebooks. So it is not disrupting authenticity of any form of literature, and it is also boosting older like 19th century things that have been going on. So there's nothing being disrupted using this.
Okay. I would like to pose a question. First of all, if we're talking about the book side, we could also talk about the actual social media side. From the side of literature, the amount of popularity social media is it's providing, that is essentially the entire pivot that your debate focuses on. Okay, but also if we talk about specifically social media and what its implications are, because the facts that state, due to the fast changing content on such websites, the attention span of readers has also reduced. And if we are talking about statistics and facts, and that is the basis of our debate, the National Center for Biotechnology Information claimed that due to social media, the average human attention span has dropped from 12 seconds in 2000 to 8 seconds in 2013. So, like, an important habit of thinking over a thought, giving it time to percolate in your mind, is reduced to a great extent. How do you think that could be justified?
I would like to ask
Vedant,
your
can you please?
connection it to for what you asked for attention span to literature. What's the connection that social media is disrupting attention span to
Absolutely.
literature?
There is no connection at all with human cognitive abilities. Like he's talking about attention level seeking, attention focusing capabilities of human beings to literature. That has zero connection within it.
See,
So
we're
can
talking
you?
about books. We're talking about books and social media. Books essentially give readers the time to think about something. It increases and it enhances their attention span. Whereas
So
social media,
you specified it that you were talking about
decreases it.
social media. You didn't mention it that it was about books. There is no
He mentioned
not
it.
at all any
He
fact.
mentioned it. Gaurav, he mentioned that
Essentially,
part.
I'm presenting a comparison and I'm asking you, how could you think that could be justified from the social media point of view?
Yeah, the main what I would just like to ask is, how are you trying to connect that social media has disrupted the attention span of people,
Yes, it
and that's what you are asking, wanting us to answer right now, right?
basically, yes.
So how is this related to, how is your attention span related to boosting literature?
I'm not talking about boosting literature right now. Okay, we
But the
talked
topic is
the
about
topic
social media
was in the
boosting
world
literature.
of literature. In the world of literature, there are several aspects. In the world of literature, we have books, and right now, social media being compared to books is heavily disadvantaged because of the amount of, okay, first of all, I mentioned the attention span, I mentioned the mental health, the creativity, it is hampering. Okay, that books help to facilitate. How can you justify all of those advantages that books actually have on readers? And that is included in the world of literature.
So,
You can
with that,
continue with that. You can
social
continue.
media,
Gorika, go on, Gorika, go on.
so that due to social media, the creativity level of humans has decreased. That's what we're trying to say. The attention span, the creative level of
Has
people have.
decreased.
That's
According to
what.
actual official sources, it has decreased.
Okay, so speaking about your creativity, it actually think it depends upon how you look at things. Like speaking, let me forget about creativity for once.
Now you're going from it on a subjective perspective. From a subjective perspective, anything can be possible because you're talking about a person. A person, if he has the ability to actually inculcate creativity, that is an entirely different thing. Then he can not only do it from social media or books, but from anything else. But right
Exactly.
now, you're not answering directly what I asked. I'm asking, how could you justify the fact that social media has actually dropped the attention span, while books help to increase it, books help to facilitate it?
That is not at all a point of view that we're talking about. Social media has hampered the attention span. See, if you are talking about creativity, you're mixing it with creativity, you're mixing it with imagination power. See, talking about the facts, creativity is intelligence dancing on hooves. Getting my point? So intelligence and creativity depends upon individual to individual level. And talking about how in social media is hampering attention level, that is not at all a question that should be asked in this debate. That is going southwards.
How is it not a question as the entire debate pivots on social media,
Okay,
right?
is lack of attention span affecting literature sales?
Again, you're going back to the same topic. I just stated that literature sales is a totally different topic. We have discussed it
Okay. Is
intensely.
lack of attention span not good for literature?
How is lack of attention span good for literature? How do you think you could possibly make that statement?
No, Vedant, we're just asking you to rephrase your question.
The question
It's
I
just
asked,
that it's not connected. You can develop it without using social media. Social media is those people
social
who don't
media
have
is
access.
hampering it. Okay. Still, you're not
It
answering my
okay. It
question.
can hamper those 97% of teenagers. It's their wish. They don't want to focus on that.
See, again,
It's
you're going on a
actually boosting
subjective
it for the
point of view.
3%. So that's the boost that social literature requires, and it's getting it. It depends on person to person. If they can't concentrate enough, you can't blame them. We can't blame them. So
I just clarified that point that you're again putting up. I just clarified it that social media in itself is a platform that is hampering attention span. If you're talking about people on a subjective perspective, there are examples of people who actually have some kind of disability but still manage to develop their attention span. That is a
You
totally
are
different
again going
thing.
southwards. See,
That is
Vedant, you are
different. What I'm asking is,
And we're just talking about social
how does
media.
social media, okay, wait, let me rephrase it for your convenience. How is social media able and capable to replace books and to actually, like as Gorika stated, that it could be replaced? How is it capable to actually replace or substitute books? How is it better if it's actually dropping the attention span, it's hampering the creativity, whereas books, on the other hand, are facilitating it, they are increasing it? How would you justify
Let
that?
me just
okay, Vedant.
okay, let me
Tell me.
answer and then Gaurav, you continue. Just a little point
Yeah,
that I need to mention.
surely, Gorga, you can continue.
No, it's fine. Libraries are closing and art budgets are decreasing. We're aware of that. But like in COVID, everything was shut. So, like I was saying, so that social media, it broadens the horizon for people. So, like, young authors who don't have the capital, who don't have the money for,
Before we
going to
proceed further, we are again moving into the all the literature sales topics, and that I have clarified before also. That is not the topic that I'm asking. That is not the question.
Then why are you asking the question if it's not related to boosting literature? Come on, man, move on.
I'm asking
What
the
we are
world of
focused here is
literature.
that social media should boost literature, and
In
it
the
is
world
boosting.
of
And if you are
literature,
not interested to go through social media, you have other methods, you can continue with that.
world of literature.
Guys, sorry to interrupt. We're running out of time. I need you to conclude the debate now.
Mom, we are done with it.
Ma'am, we are most likely done with it. If the opposition have anything related to the topic, they can speak, and not
Yeah,
what
not going
Vedant
downwards to
has
the
been
topic.
asking
Okay,
since the
okay,
start.
okay, guys, calm down. I need a conclusion from both of your teams, for and against. Okay. Now decide whoever wants to speak in for and then the against group, and let's conclude it. All right.
Mom, we need to say the concluding lines, the final concluding lines.
Yeah. What did you conclude from the debate?
Okay. So like everyone has to speak individually, or just one will represent the entire team?
One will represent for, one will represent against. You
Ma'am,
guys
could
need
you give
time
us?
to decide who wants to speak from which team.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mom.
All right. I'll give you 2 minutes. Decide fast, okay? Because we have to end it soon. Did you all decide?
oh, just a minute, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, could you just clarify how long exactly could our conclusion be?
A minute or so. Just a few lines. That's all. Can we start?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay. Let the full
Ritam.
team go ahead with your conclusion.
Yes, ma'am. Before I start with that, I just wanted to say that it must be noted that social media platforms are far more liberal and diversified as compared to, our traditional, wait a minute, our, right, our traditional field of academia. In fact, uh, according, like, this is just statistics. I think we should skip on that. And moving on, social media can also help to minimize the gap that we have between white and non-white literati, because it it is a predominantly white industry, right? So when it is providing social media actually helps to provide more exposure to this already predominantly white industry, and it helps to provide more exposure pub, uh, by either promoting the already published works of underrepresented groups, or it just presents them with a better environment where they can safely step into that environment, into that industry. Continuing, the more now that the amount of people who are entering this field, they have increased. That amount of people have increased. So the amount of published and posted works have also increased, which further contributes to the diversification of this literary genre. The advent of social media has also evolved literature. The previously mentioned diversification of literary genres also includes emergence of subgenres like insta poetry, like we have talked about in this debate. And due to the same ease of publishing, or more precisely, we can say posting, literary works have become more accessible for readers, and it has become easy on the pockets of readers as well as for writers. Because now, for obvious reasons, like the cost of publishing has reduced, each person can be their own author, their own editor, their own publisher. So it's easy on their pockets. Lastly, as we're well aware that if something has become popular or has gone viral on the internet or social media, it can have like real life impacts. I would like to propose the idea of literature getting viral on social media, but to the benefit of this proposition, it already has. Like, literature has already gone viral on social media, and it can be clearly seen in different types of internet subcultures, like the dark academia aesthetic. So I would like to rest my case by stating that social media has positively contributed to the betterment, or dare I say, modernization of literature, and it will continue to do so. That is pretty much all. The against team
The
can
against
go for their
team
conclusion.
can go ahead.
Okay, great. So as we have seen in this debate, that although social media provides us with a certain edge over connectivity and popularism, it still is detrimental to a person's mental and intellectual growth, and that is essentially what books need. A person of any age group, when reads a book and a seed is implanted in their minds, and that seed can be nourished with thought, and that thought can only come when books are read, not when we interact with people on social media and view the detrimental comments. So the benefits of social media far exceed the vicious ways it is impacting today's youth. Social media is an unproductive use of time, as it only entertains you. It gives you no food for thought. Social media in a world of literature has made the truest and most reliable friend, a book, desolate. Books, the pillars of a nurturing mind, the food for thought, is being replaced by the time killing and endless scrolling on social media platforms. The fake sense of connectivity, the unreliability and mental influence, and the superficialness of it all. A user influencing millions and users getting impacted, all from behind a screen. My friends, while the internet keeps its consumers' minds occupied by social media, trolls, fake news, and all the other hazards of the online life, books, on the other hand, allow its readers to internalize, react, and transform. It isn't oblivious to us that endless scrolling is frittering away our precious time and the creative capacity of our brain that had the potential of developing into something substantial, shaping us in a better way, only if we cherished the pleasure of picking up a book. A piece of book is nothing but a lifeless object, and so is a smartphone. But a book, my friends, can revive a mind. As a matter of urgency, it is of utmost vitality that books be revived, pages be turned, our minds be developed and adapted to think critically, for us to implement the takeaways from a book in our life that cannot be done from social media. We should dive into the fathomless world of wisdom and dig out seeds of knowledge, and to sow those seeds and nourish them to bear ripe fruits should not be contradicted by hampering it through the drastic impacts of social media. Thus, although social media provides us with a platform of nurturing the popularity of certain books, it is detrimental and is, in conclusion, not better than books for our mental health and for the intellectual capacity of our brain. Thank you very much.
Well, that was an interesting debate. Both the teams displayed some really good viewpoints. It has been a great pleasure to hear you all speak and debate against each other. Now, I would like to invite the judge, Mrs. Usha Krishna, to speak a few words.
Good evening, friends. I would like to call you all as my friends for your commendable and convincing debate. In fact, I was enjoying every bit and the argument and the research work which has gone behind. I think you have made all your articulation skills at the topmost level priority and articulated all the facts and examples supporting your arguments, everything commendable. So once again, I would like to congratulate all the participants. And you also have taken the opportunity to team up with the members which were not met before. Probably, I think some of you could be stranger to each other. But in a way, while coming to debate, it is, see, in life, we see several kinds of conflicts and debates are there common in our life. But when coming to thinking and designing a solution or arriving at a solution, and at the same time convincing the opponent that valid points are there in your arguments, that makes the debate more convincing. So it's not about making your opponent convince and come to your understanding as the right one or something like that. Collectively, certain decisions can be taken only when pros and cons are discussed in detail. Everyday life also, this is the same thing we see even in many news channels. Probably you must be seeing several debates wherein the decision making ultimately depends on evidence-based discussion. So I wish all of you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your wonderful words, ma'am. We would like to inform you all that the results will be announced tomorrow in the closing ceremony, so please do join us. Our team will soon send you all an email regarding the closing ceremony. Literature Festival team thanks Mrs. Usha Krishna and the participants for taking part and making this event successful. I hope everyone has savored each moment in this debate. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. See you soon.
Thank you, Srinidhi.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your participation. You guys can leave now.